Hey everyone, I have here a Lego Christmas catalog for 2019. This is a United States version. It is the thickest, most comprehensive Lego catalog that I have had in my hands or seen in person in quite some time. So I thought this would be a good time to spend some time just going through it and sharing my thoughts about what is here. I've done some catalog walkthroughs, run-throughs, flip-throughs in the past that a lot of people have liked. So if you want to see it, then buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride. No, it's not going to be a wild ride at all. It's going to be very, very chill. If you don't want to see it, well, just click away. It's no problem. Not everything is for everyone. I'll go ahead and just start right here with the Christmas specific stuff. This is interesting. I had not heard of this. So Lego this year has announced that they're getting into recycling of used Lego pieces. That's an interesting thing. And then this is a donation thing that they're doing, a charity-based thing for every ornament built. I'm assuming this is an in-store little event that they'll be doing at physical Lego stores. They will donate a Lego set to a child in need. Now, I'm assuming that they're going to be donating very small sets, but you know what? To a kid who doesn't have toys, maybe, or is in a hospital and has a really tough time that they're going through in their life, or they've had family troubles, or they're in an orphanage or something, a small Lego toy is something that can bring so much joy. I've worked with a number of charities in the past, and just the amount of joy that they're able to share, even just distributing a ton of the smallest of Lego sets, is tremendous. So that is a really good thing, no matter what. Even if it's not that successful, it's a really, really good thing. Advent calendars, I have not even paid any attention to in quite some time, and you'll notice that I haven't done any reviews on them in quite a while, because there was a time when everybody was doing all the Advent calendars, and every single day, for the first 25 days in December, there would just be so many of these things. They would just flood YouTube. And I did that a little bit because people were asking me to do it, but I just got tired of it. I think I got tired of it before most folks did. It just didn't feel good to me. Let me know in the comments what you think about Advent calendars in general. I just feel like they've become a bit passé, at least the Lego ones. For a time, they were really popular. I actually did purchase for myself the Star Wars one just to get the figures that are in there, and I'm not even going to do any video on it or anything because I got it for me just to have the figures. Anyway, this thing was super nice. I think some people kind of pooed on it, didn't like it because it didn't have regular human figures in it and doesn't necessarily fit directly into the long-going holiday, winter or Christmas village kind of theme. But I don't know. I just think it's such a charming thing that it's good. I have not looked at any Duplo sets in quite some time, and I feel bad about that. I feel like I should go back and look at some more Duplo stuff. I have on me right now 2 Duplo train sets. One of them is probably a few years old by now. One of them is maybe 1 year old. They don't even show those here. I'm surprised they put so little Duplo into this. I'll have to see if there's any more. But it doesn't look like there's going to be. Because Duplo is still a really good thing. It's a good product line. It's well loved. It gets purchased a lot, that's for sure. Maybe they just feel they don't need to push it so much because it kind of sells itself. But yeah, I need to get caught up on that. The Toy Story stuff, I personally just wasn't interested in either. However, I did purchase 2 of these. I purchased this for myself to get some green Army Men, because I wanted them, and also these red wheels in particular. And I most recently purchased this. I think it was just this past week or the end of last week. I got this to get another white motorcycle and Duke Kaboom. Just, I don't know, cool dude, cool looking figure pieces to use for other things. But I've never been a Toy Story fan myself, and these being Super Juniorized sets, I just felt like they wouldn't be of that much interest to my viewers in particular. I think that was a good choice. Just, because anything that I do is going to take away from time that would go into anything else. I always have more to do than I have time. So that's kind of why I often prioritize, especially these days that I can't review everything because they make too much. The space stuff, from what I've seen in stores, the space stuff has sold very well. I'm very happy to see that. And, I've talked about it plenty and reviewed all these things, and I think this was a good one. Not every single thing they did was perfect, but overall, I think that it's good and well timed with the popularity of space exploration and commercial space travel now, exploding quite a bit in the popular conscience. The fire stuff, we always get people complaining, why do they keep making more fire stuff? And yet it keeps selling. At least stores that I've seen in person have not had a lot of dust collecting on these sets. And I think they did a decent job with the fire sets in general. Yeah, the main fire station is not the big one. It's not the most expensive one. Not the most expensive fire set for this year. That distinction goes over here. And so it is smaller. So that was definitely, understandably disappointing to folks looking in from the outside. But I think it was probably not as disappointing to kids who got this fire station, who don't just sit on Brickset, Brickypedia or whatever, and just compare things based on their size, or comparing things to things that were made years ago because, they were kids years ago and now they're older, to regular modern kids who are getting Lego stuff today. I think that fire station was not bad at all. This stuff, not quite so much. I think the patrol car did sell pretty well, understandably. I've still seen some of these on shelves. I think this was the worst seller out of all of them. Just from what I've seen, I could be completely wrong on that, just based on, seeing how quickly and how frequently store or shelves appear to be restocked. I don't feel like this was a particularly strong season for police in particular. They tried to tie in and make it make sense with the little animated series that they did this year. Why Sky Police? And it's kind of a silly thing. It brought some understanding to it, but I don't know. It just feels like it didn't work out all that well. I haven't seen this set selling that well myself, but then not a lot of them have been made, and I'm sure that there wasn't a great amount of expectation for this to sell hugely. I feel like amongst Lego fans, it has been received very, very well. One of the better received sets, aside from these really nice minifigure packs. And then this one, every time I look at the marketing pictures for this, the actual official pictures and stuff, it looks so much nicer to me than it does in person. I reviewed it, and this I look at it and I immediately think, oh, a lodge. There's a lodge there. That's cool. And with all the stuff they put in the background and how they pose things at different levels, I think it looks better than it actually is in real life, and that's a shame. I don't feel like they're intentionally trying to mislead there any more than advertisements generally do. I mean, look at how much stuff is in the background here, but that's still a pretty cool set. But just here, I just feel like this was a disappointment to me. I haven't built this, and I should. I got it. I just haven't built it, and I should. The train stuff. Man, I have so much plastic track. I'm looking forward to using, actually, some of it this coming year. If all goes well, I'm going to be using a bunch of plastic track, and it's going to be glorious, and it's going to be awesome. Talk about that more later. What do you think about the current trains? Why have they not shown the cargo train here? They're showing the passenger train, which is okay for what it is. It's not great, but it's okay. It's not bad, But the cargo train set, yeah, more expensive, but it's so much cooler. There's so much more that you could do with it. All these relatively small sets, $20 and less, I think worked out pretty well. This Friends stuff is fantastic. I have not seen Friends stuff selling as well in general this year. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it feels like it has lost some of its hype. Maybe just there's so much of it out there, because it did sell so fantastically well in its earliest years, but it feels like it has slowed down quite a bit. I'm not a big fan of this sub-theme over here. I don't feel like that was done all that well. This is kind of nice, but this part, the stuff that they do with roller coaster track in general is not particularly exciting. This one is well loved by older fans, but we older fans are the least important people amongst Lego's fans. We think of ourselves as being the entirety of the Lego fanosphere, but we are the smallest part. What matters is what the kids think, what the kids like. I think this is an exciting looking set for what it is. These, not so much. That's kind of a complete house. I know it's open on the back, but that's a rarity, so it's a good thing. This is a junior's style set. This one, I guess if you're, I don't know, I still don't like most of the Friends vehicles. Just at least land vehicles. Frozen 2, I know nothing about. Personally, I know absolutely nothing about. I think that this looks pretty cool. I like the color scheme here. But just, I know nothing about the source material, so I really can't say much. That's a really cool set, though. Just the fact that it's different. It has mechanical stuff to it, and it's got a really nice horse that's translucent, and it looks charming. You can store stuff in it. I think it's a good idea. I like that. That's my personal favorite of all the Frozen 2 sets that they've offered up. At least so far. Classic stuff. Have they done? I feel like they haven't done as much of the pure classic stuff this year as they did last year. They pushed a lot with some of the special mixed pieces, just general pieces, little boxed sets, but not quite as much this year. Overwatch, I've talked about that plenty. Avengers, talked about certainly plenty. I feel like these sold a little bit better in general than I expected, given that there was a lot of question in advance about how much they would actually tie into the movies. But then again, younger kids don't think quite so much about those specifics when they're looking at these. At least from what I hear and what I have always heard from kids listening to them in the aisles while I'm there picking out stuff, listening to them talking to each other and talking to their parents. It's about what's in each set, and it's usually about the figures. Those are the main things that kids are looking at and caring about. Figures, mechs, any major vehicle. Like that vehicle, I would never hear a kid talk about that car or that helicopter. Ever. They would definitely talk about all of the characters, Ant-Man being small if they noticed it, and the things that shoot, stuff like that. Motorcycle, I don't think I would hear that talked about very much. It's mostly about the figures and some of the larger things and the settings and the things they can do overall with the sets. The DC things, the Batman anniversary stuff, I felt was pretty strong. Looking forward to the not UCS Batmobile that will actually be the Burton-mobile. Because this is totally not the Burton-mobile. It looks nothing like the Burton-mobile, so says the designer. There's nothing about this that brings to mind the Burton-mobile. Nothing about it at all whatsoever. Yeah, you look at the details, but you look at the whole thing. Come on. Whether you wanted to or not, you've stepped into a war with the Burton-mobile on the Lego Batman anniversary. This has not looked like it has done well. Maybe in the education space, but I see the boxes that represent these just sitting on shelves, getting pushed back, getting knocked over, never brought back. It just feels like this has not worked out so well. I feel like for younger kids, it's good. Let's see, ages 7+, yeah. 7 to, so let me say 6 to 8, I think is the ideal age range for this to really pull them forward. Once you get up to about 10 to 12, it gets a little bit too easy and too simple. Yeah, just not interesting enough. Just my personal opinion. And I haven't seen a lot of hype and buzz about it. The creator stuff continues to be pretty strong. I never did that. I thought about it, but it didn't interest me personally enough. That helicopter is big and it's strong. decent use of space on the inside too, but that one I feel like hasn't sold all that well either. I don't know, there's something that's not strong about that though. I don't know what it is. Harry Potter, I've talked about this stuff plenty by now. Other than that, pretty strong, continuing to go from strength to strength. Oh yeah, and other than that, the Hogwarts castle, the big one, is still around, and they should hold on to that for quite some time because they can make a lot of money off of it, just on an ongoing basis. Big set with a big profit margin, I'm sure. This thing is super cool. I was just looking at today, Brickset's interview with the designer of this brings in a good amount of additional insight into what he was thinking about and why stuff was done. And it's interesting. This becomes a lot more contextually relevant today for the current state of Star Wars with the upcoming release of The Rise of Skywalker. Because we have the old class 1 class, I class I, what is it? The older generation version of them, but upgraded with what used to be synthetic Kyber now is bled Kyber, powered dreadnought cannons on the base of them. That'll be interesting to find out how Palpatine got such powerful stuff in there, how he was able to bleed all those crystals to power that stuff up, and to see if they actually will be able to blow up planets with a single Star Destroyer, or if it will require multiple of them, firing in unison. I'm glad that there's not going to be another Death Star, though. Gosh, I'm so glad that there's not going to be yet another flippin' death ball from the Empire, because 3 is too many. I'm sorry. That's one thing that bugged me quite a lot about The Force Awakens. Probably what I liked least about The Force Awakens was the fact that they had another still bigger flippin' death ball with a giant, planet-killing cannon for effectively the Empire, and it got destroyed again easily. That bugged me so much. It was so huge compared to the originals, and it was destroyed. It just, I'm not happy about that. A lot of people talk about what they leave in their headcanon, what they leave out from their own personal headcanon for Star Wars. For me, it's Starkiller Base. I'm leaving out. That's not in my headcanon for Star Wars. It's just too insulting to me. This is cool for R2. The fact that you can't do all 3 droids is very sad, and makes me a little bit angry that they advertise this so strongly as a pack of 3 droids, but you can't have 3 droids. You kind of have to take the whole thing apart in order to make 3 different ones that actually work. I'm not too happy about that, honestly. It's based on the boost system, which is fine. I think that the boost system is used pretty well here, but the fact that you can't have all 3 droids even on display, not too happy about that. Will I ever get this? I feel like I would like to someday, but higher priority for me personally is a UCS Star Destroyer, because I saw one, the original one was actually kept on top of a cubicle at PayPal when I first worked there. I want to say 2007-ish or so. And I wasn't even into Legos before I got back into Lego for the second time as an adult. And that thing was just so impressive to me. It just looks so good. But it doesn't, honestly, it's because it was a giant Death Star. The fact that it was Lego wasn't that important to me, to be honest. So maybe at some point I'll do make models, big models, like foam core models or something of things that I want to be large. Just so expensive and so heavy and so hard to find places to put such huge models like these that even just for me personally, it doesn't make sense. I can't justify it. I can't do it. Hidden side. Wow. Even looking at these pages here with all this stuff over here that's complicating things, and then them bringing in the additional graphics that they use on the boxes rather than focusing on the sets themselves. Like this part of showing the device, the smart device, the phone or whatever, in the picture and making it fairly big is really good. That's very important. And I want to see, I wish there was a little bit better connection between what I see here. I can see it there. Yeah, that works, although it's not quite large enough. This works a little bit. I feel like they could have put a little bit more focus on the set there, just to immediately create the connection for our eyes. But overall, just the graphic design work and the layout work for marketing for this theme just continues to go from weakness to weakness, in my opinion, because this is confusing. These things are confusing, and they just add noise, visual noise. This is good. There we go. That's what I want to see. These little insets are small enough that, okay, yeah, they have to do this, but it's a little bit redundant, because this and this are supposed to be the same thing, but then this isn't fully in context because it doesn't show the set, but then this does show the set. There's just too many things that they're trying to do at one time. I don't know, make this bigger and then just do that. Put a little more focus on this or whatever. Could have been done better, but at least you see the sets here much better, so that's good. Because I do like the sets. Good. I haven't seen the ending episodes, second set of episodes for this season yet myself. I'm sure that they are out there pirated from other countries by now, but I haven't personally seen them just yet. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I've seen all the kids coming through trying to ruin the story for everyone who hasn't seen it, with the spoilers for the second half, which is really lame that people feel like they need to do that. But yeah, where are the parents, I say. This I am not going to get. Still not interested in it. Still just not cool enough to me. Good set of figures. The T-Rex looks pretty good. Not as good as the prototype, in my opinion, but it's $250, and I don't need to spend $250 on a dinosaur. And nobody needs to hear my thoughts about it either. Nobody needs me to spend $250 of my money to tell them what I think about it, because I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't already know. And just from looking at it, you already have your opinion made up. It might be entertaining a little bit to hear what I have to say, but it's just not worth it. Not worth the time and money. It's not. This other stuff, I went through all of this, and it's good. It's another little project I need to work on at some point in the future, is getting my dinosaur exhibit, my dinosaur display together. Because right now it's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom themed, but I need to get some additional stuff in it. I need to convert it more over to the direction I want to go with it, of being an old dinosaur sanctuary that was found underground. Yeah, all this stuff here I've covered. Still need to do Paris. They're not showing it here, but of course they're going to focus on the United States-based stuff in the most recent sets, which is fine. For these two, obviously that's not in the United States. I know that. What about this? This thing I think is pretty cool. I was looking through the brick set reviews for this. It just recently, just this week, came out with the explanation of how the Control Plus system works with the app, and that looks pretty good. And some of the different control schemes that they offer up through that app look pretty good to me. I still am sad that app use is required for this, because I love being able to have something tactile to actually be able to control something that I know will never be deprecated. That's why I'm going to continue to get older Technic stuff, older cables, and just motors, power functions, and 9-volt era stuff, and some of their switches even, and everything to automate stuff. And even Mindstorms was able to be programmed without, to some degree you could do some stuff without apps. I don't know. Lego is such a physical thing, and that's one of the cool things about it. It's one of the wonderful things about it, is that you're doing something that's real, and this stuff is not. It's all virtual, and I just worry about it going away at some point. When they stop updating a particular app, because that vehicle is no longer being sold. I mean, power functions didn't even last that long, to be honest. Each generation of Mindstorms has not lasted that long, but at least older stuff is still able to be used with the original equipment. I've been very interested in this since the beginning, and it's great to know that just a single gear swap of 2 gears makes it actually off-road capable. I want to do some. I also like the fact that the suspension is actually tuned to work. It's not super stiff like most toys that have suspension are, where it's not actually going to do anything unless you physically push down on it. This actually does soak up some terrain, and the tires can move around. One day I want to do a working RC off-road, something like this in Lego. And I know there are so many different ways to do it. I might end up doing it custom myself, but I do want to do that to some degree and have it actually work and be good. This thing never interested me personally. I just looked at the Brickset review for it. This looks better than I expected, and I actually like this more than I thought I would. It does rely a fair bit on non-Technic pieces, but overall I think it's pretty cool, and $200 does not seem unreasonable for the amount of stuff that you get there. To me, personally. This one I don't know why, but I feel like I didn't see the second version of it until relatively recently, the other option for it. And I love the fact that the alternate model for this gives you 2 things that you can actually carry along, because that's the one thing that I liked least about this model, was the fact that there's only 1 vehicle to actually carry. You build this carrier that can hold at least 4 vehicles, maybe 5, if you get small enough ones of this general size. But it only came with 1. I don't need it to come with, I wouldn't ask for it to come with 5. I wouldn't ask for it to come with 4. 3 would be nice, so you can have one here, and then 1 on the top, just to kind of have all of the bases covered, right? Because this is 1 unit, and this is another unit. So you want to have 1 vehicle in the trailer, you want to have 1 vehicle in the main thing down low, and then you want to have 1 up top, either here or here, just to have all the bases covered, so that you're using all the stuff that's there. But the alternate model at least does that. It doesn't give you as much space to carry things along, but you can carry multiple things at once, and I like that. So I think I like this better than all this, because you can do more with it. And is that not like a modern Euro version of an A-Team van? That's kind of what it looks like to me. I did get that, and I just haven't built it. I don't know if I ever will, just because of time. It's getting kind of old. Like fewer people care about it, and people who do care about it have already passed judgment, or I've seen plenty of other reviews from Technic specialists. So the value of me doing this stuff is down relative to the amount of time that I could use instead working on my city or other projects. All this stuff I've covered. It's pretty good. It's my least favorite right there by far, but the rest is pretty good. Hope to continue at that level. This is a nice spread here. These are all things that the designers of them, I think, can be proud of, and the team in general can be proud of. This is Lego doing really, really good work here at a large scale, which allows you to do bigger details. This in person, to me, still looks pretty dang boxy. Doesn't look enough like the real thing. It looks so much more like an actual DB5 here than it does in person to me. It looks so much more boxy. Just the lighting, I think, helps to accentuate the curves here. But also the price of this was rough to me. But the build is good. This one is better in my opinion. This is good for what it is. Could have used some silver. That's pretty good. Relatively plain, relatively basic, but still good, and looks really nice on display. I still have this built. I don't know what to do with it. Probably gonna just take it apart and sell it, because I have enough of the coaster pieces that I've gotten in gray for anything that I want to do. And I'm definitely, I'm not gonna do a theme park again in my main city. That's for sure. It's just overdone. Now this I actually, $200 though. I could use this in a future project. So I may yet get this. There is hope that I may get this before it goes out of production again. This is great. I still have it put together. Probably won't keep it long term, but it's still It's still really good. Of course, I still have all the modular buildings put together. How do people think about the today, about the shift to a 50s style for the era that these things are placed in now? I wonder. I'm actually curious what people think. If you want to say what you think about that move in general. When it first happened, there was a little bit of split. Some folks were happy to see them trying something different. Some folks wished that they would just continue on with the same theme so that things would feel better together. Like this works okay, but this just stands out so much against the 20s and 30s, mostly 30s era stuff that they've done in the past. It's, I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on what they do next, whether this will continue to stand out and other things will fit in better, or if we'll really see a continuous push in a direction that is obvious and that makes more and more buildings stand out to where you can't have just a nice long row of modular buildings that look like they all go together. This set, I probably haven't talked about this in some time. Maybe I have. I might have mentioned it. But this set I have kept together because my wife loves it. And it's just on display in our living room. I put a colored light behind it, so it lights up the wall behind it. And you can change the color. It's those remote control ones. So maybe once a season or so, I just change the color. It'll be pink or blue or cyan or something. You just change it up. I actually haven't done orange. I should probably do orange for this holiday season. My wife is also into Halloween in particular for decorations and stuff. I've talked about this too much, so I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Talked about this plenty, these plenty. This I feel has kind of just fallen off the map. Like it came out and there was some interest in it and then it just all went away. Haven't seen anybody talking about it since. This, yes. This a little bit, this not at all. Interesting. And that's it. Friends. Yeah, I know nothing about Friends other than one reference that they have in here. The lipstick for men, they have a reference to it in this set somewhere. I think it's on a sticker or something. I remember that from when it played on TV. It was funny, but other than that, I have no interest in the theme whatsoever. I think it's a cool set of a set, but I can't offer anything on this. Why have I not reviewed it? Because I know nothing about the source material. I can't give a good review. I'm not qualified. It's useless. I offer no value. Thank you to the folks who say, no, Jang, you do offer value, even if you don't know. I appreciate that. I don't concur, and I just don't feel good about it. If I'm not confident that I can provide value, it's an uphill battle to get me to go past that. All right, that is it. Rambling from me, maybe. I don't know. Just my thoughts. I've got nothing else. I'm actually a little bit continue to be disappointed that there's not more Duplo stuff in here because I was looking forward to seeing more stuff that I have not talked about and not looked at in the past year, but not so much. All right, well, that's that. Thanks for watching if you made it to this point. I'll talk to you again pretty soon.